I am writing this to you before I have ever seen your face, before I know the sound of your laugh or the weight of your hand in mine. I am writing because somewhere between hope and fear, I have learned that faith isn't about certainty. It is about choosing to believe even when the silence feels too heavy to hold. I need you to know, whoever you are, wherever you are, that I am here writing into the vastness, sending words into the universe like a letter with no address, trusting they will find their way to you. Because what terrifies me most isn't that you might not exist, but that you do. What terrifies me is that I will miss you, that I will be looking the wrong way when you walk past, or that I will have given up on believing just before you arrived. So this is my confession, my quiet defiance against doubt. This is me saying I still believe. Even when it hurts, even when it feels foolish, I believe in you. And if you are reading this someday, if these words somehow reach you, know that I have been speaking to you all along. Every dream I have chased, every version of myself I have tried to become, it has all been a conversation with you. So stay with me and let me tell you. If you are still here, stay with me. I am going to reveal something at the end that you do not want to miss. I do not know if you will understand this, but I have been carrying you with me for years. Not as a person. I couldn't describe your eyes or tell you how you take your coffee, but as a feeling, a presence like walking through my life knowing someone is supposed to be beside me, and the empty space where you should be is the loudest thing in the room. It is strange, isn't it? Missing someone you have never met, aching for a voice you have never heard, but that is what this has been. It is a beautiful, terrifying kind of longing that doesn't make sense to anyone but me. I remember being younger and thinking love was something you stumbled into, that it would announce itself clearly, dramatically, like in the movies, that I would know the moment I saw you. But life taught me differently. It taught me that sometimes the most profound connections begin as quiet uncertainty, as hope mixed with fear, as choosing to believe in something before you have proof. And maybe that is what I am doing now. Choosing you before I know you, building faith in someone who might exist, building faith in someone who might only exist in the corners of my imagination. But here is the truth, I have never told anyone. I am scared, not of commitment or vulnerability or any of those things people say they fear about love. I am scared that you are just a story I have been telling myself, a coping mechanism, a way to romanticize my solitude and make it feel like waiting instead of just being alone. What if I have built you up so much in my mind that the real you, the human, flawed, beautiful you, could never measure up? What if I am in love with a ghost? These are the questions. These are the questions that keep me awake. The ones I can't ask anyone else because they would tell me to stop overthinking, to just live my life, to let love happen naturally, and they would be right probably. But they don't understand that for me, you have already happened. You are already woven into the fabric of how I see my future. Every decision I make with you in mind. Every version of myself I try to become is me preparing for you. And that is either the most romantic thing in the world or the most foolish. Maybe it is both. I think about the life we might build together. Not the grand gestures or the Instagram perfect moments, but the quiet ones. Morning coffee and comfortable silence. Your head on my shoulder during a movie neither of us is really watching. The way you might look at me when I am being ridiculous. That mixture of exasperation and affection that somehow makes me feel more loved than any words could. I imagine us navigating the hard things too. The arguments where we have to choose each other even when we don't want to. The compromises, the ways we will have to learn each other's language and meet in the middle of our differences for us. This is where everything I thought I knew changed. I used to believe that love was about finding someone who fit perfectly into my life, someone who complemented my strengths and filled my gaps. But the older I get, the more I realize that's not love. That is convenience. Love is choosing to make space for someone who might not fit at all. It is letting them reshape you. It is being willing to build something entirely new rather than just adding them to what already exists. And that terrifies me because it means surrendering control. It means trusting who I become with you is better. It means trusting that who I become with you will be better than who I am alone, even though there is no guarantee. Have you felt this too? This pull towards someone you can't see, or am I alone in this particular kind of madness? Sometimes I wonder if you are out there somewhere writing your own version of this letter. If you are scared of the same things, if you wake up sometimes with this inexplicable sense that someone is missing and you can't quite explain who or why, I hope you are. I hope you are feeling it too, because the alternative that this is all one-sided is just too much. The alternative that I am pouring my heart into an empty room is almost too much to bear. But even if you are not ready yet, even if you haven't started looking for me the way I am looking for you, I understand. Maybe you need more time to become who you are meant to be. Maybe you are healing from something or learning something or simply living your life without this particular ache I carry. And that is okay. That is more than okay, because I don't want you to come to me out of loneliness or desperation. I want you to choose me because you are whole, because you are ready for this life. Because when our paths finally cross, you will recognize what I have known all along, that this was always going to happen. I am building a life in the meantime, not a holding pattern, not just marking time until you arrive, but an actual life. One with purpose and passion and meaning, because I realize something important. You deserve the best version of me, not the one who has been waiting around, letting days blur into years, postponing joy until you show up. You deserve the me who has been out there falling and rising, learning and growing, becoming someone worthy of the love I ask. So that is what I am doing. I am building dreams. I am taking risks. I am becoming the kind of person who can hold space for someone as extraordinary as I imagine you to be. And yes, that includes the failures, the times I fall short of who I want to be, the moments when I am petty or selfish or afraid, because I want you to know all of me, not just the polished version I present to the world. I want you to see the parts that aren't Instagram worthy, the insecurities, the doubts, the ways I sometimes sabotage my own happiness because I don't fully believe I deserve it. I want you now. I want you to see all of that and choose me anyway. Not despite my flaws, but with full knowledge of them. Because that is what real intimacy is, being fully known and fully loved. Before you go, hear this one thing. I don't need you to be perfect. I don't need you to have it all figured out or to arrive in my life without scars or stories. I just need you to be real, to be honest, to be willing to try. Because what I am offering isn't a fairy tale, it is a partnership. It is two imperfect people choosing each other every single day, even on the days when choosing each other is hard. It is building something together from scratch with no blueprint, no guarantee, just faith and effort and love. What would it be to already be a name being alone? What if I built you up so much in my mind that the real you, the human, flawed, beautiful you, could never measure up? What if I am in love with a ghost? These are the questions that keep me awake. The ones I can't ask anyone else because they tell me to stop overthinking, to just live my life, to let love happen naturally. And they would be right probably, but they don't understand that for me you have already happened today. You are already woven into the fabric of how I see my future. Every decision I make with you in mind. Every version of myself I try to become is me preparing for you. And that is either the most romantic thing in the world or the most foolish. Maybe it is both. I think about the life we might build together. Not the grand gestures or the Instagram perfect moments, but the quiet ones. Morning coffee and comfortable silence. Your head on my shoulder during a movie neither of us is really watching, the way you might look at me when I am being ridiculous and laughing at me. That mixture of exasperation and affection that somehow makes me feel more loved than any words could. I imagine us navigating the hard things too. The arguments where we have to choose each other even when we don't want to. The compromises, the ways we will have to learn each other's language and meet in the middle of our differences. This is where everything I thought I knew changed. I used to believe that love was about finding someone who fit perfectly into my life, someone who complemented my strengths and filled my gaps. But the older I get, I realize that is not love. I realize that's not love, that's convenience. Love is choosing to make space for someone who might not fit at all. It is letting them reshape you. It is being willing to build something entirely new rather than just adding them to what already exists. And that terrifies me because it means surrendering control. It means trusting that who I become with you will be better than who I am alone, even though there is no guarantee. Have you felt this too? This pull towards someone you can't see, or am I alone in this particular kind of madness? Sometimes I wonder if you are out there now. Sometimes I wonder if you are out there somewhere writing your own version of this letter. If you are scared of the same things. If you wake up sometimes with this inexplicable sense that someone is missing and you can't quite explain who or why, I hope you are. I hope you are feeling it too, because the alternative that this is all one-sided, that I am pouring my heart into an empty room, is almost too much to bear. But even if you are not ready yet, even if you haven't started looking for me the way I am looking for you, I understand. Maybe you need more time to become yours. Maybe you need more time to become who you are meant to be. Maybe you are healing from something, or learning something, or simply living your life without this particular ache I carry. And that is okay. That is more than okay, because I don't want you to come to me out of loneliness or desperation. I want you to choose me because you are whole, because you are ready, because when our paths finally cross, you will recognize what I have known all along, that this was always going to happen. I am building a life in the meantime. What if you could trust again? What if you truly could? What if you let yourself believe that someone out there is thinking about you with this kind of intensity, this kind of hope? What if you are not as alone as you feel? There is something I need to confess, and it feels vulnerable even to write it down. I have rehearsed our first meeting in my head 1,000 times. Not in a controlling way, not like I have a script you need to follow, but in the way you replay a song you love, trying to hold on to the feeling it gives you. I imagine the exact moment our eyes meet across a room, or the way you might laugh at something I say now. I imagine for just a second the whole world goes quiet. I imagine the nervousness in my chest, the words I will stumble over, the way I will probably try too hard and then worry I have ruined everything. And then I imagine you smiling anyway, seeing through the performance to the person underneath, choosing to stay. Is that foolish to have imagined you so many times that you feel almost tangible? Sometimes I catch myself having conversations with you in my mind, telling you about my day, asking your opinion on decisions I am facing, and I know how that sounds, like I am in fantasy. I know how that sounds, like I am living in a fantasy disconnected from reality. But here is what I have learned. Hope isn't escapism. Faith isn't denial. Sometimes believing in something before it exists is the only way to make space for it in your life. So yes, I talk to you, I imagine you, I prepare my heart for you, and I refuse to apologize for that. The truth is, I have been hurt before. Not in some dramatic, movie-worthy way that makes for a good story, just in the quiet, accumulating way that most of us experience heartbreak. Relationships that faded rather than ended at all. Connections that promised everything and delivered half-truths. Moments when I gave my whole heart and got back just a piece of someone else's. And each time I told myself I would be more careful next time, more guarded, more realistic about what love actually is versus what I wanted it to be. But then I think about you, and all those walls I have built start to feel like prison bars. Because what is the point of protecting my heart if it means keeping you out? What is the point of being safe if it means being alone? So I made a decision, one I remake every single day for us. I will not let past pain dictate my future capacity for love. I will not punish you for wounds you didn't cause. I will meet you with an open heart, even if that heart has been broken before, even if it is scared, even if every instinct tells me to run before I get hurt again. But here is the truth. I have never told anyone. Sometimes the fear isn't about you hurting me. It is about me hurting you. What if I am not ready? What if I am still carrying damage I haven't healed? What if I meet you at the wrong time when I am still figuring out who I am and I end up being wrong? What if I end up being just another person who couldn't love you the way you deserved? That thought keeps me up at night. The idea that I might be the villain in your story, the one who let you down, the reason you write your own letter to someone else someday. So I am doing the work, not just for me, but for you. I am confronting the parts of myself I would rather ignore. The selfishness, the ego, the ways I have used ambition as an excuse to avoid intimacy, the times I have chosen comfort over courage. I am looking at all of it, not to beat myself up, but to be ready. I am doing this to become better, to be ready, because you deserve someone who has done the internal work, who has faced their demons and learned to coexist with them. You deserve someone who knows their worth, but also knows their weaknesses. Have you thought about this, about who you need to become to be ready for love? Or do you ever wonder if maybe you are already enough exactly as you are, and the person meant for you will see that? I go back and forth on this. Some days I feel like I need to achieve more, be more, have more to offer. Other days I wonder if that is fear. I wonder if that is just fear disguised as self-improvement. If maybe the most loving thing I can do is accept myself now, flaws and all, and trust that you will love me, not for who I am trying to become, but for who I already am. This is where everything shifts for me because I realize something profound. You are not a reward I earn by becoming perfect. You are a partner I meet by becoming real, and those are completely different things. Perfection is about hiding. Reality is about revealing. Perfection is performance. Reality is presence. Love isn't about worthiness at all. If I speak all my time trying to be worthy of you, I will miss the whole point that love isn't about worthiness at all. It is about willingness. The willingness to be seen, to be vulnerable, to let someone witness your becoming rather than just your arrival. I think about the conversations we will have, not the surface ones. What we do for work, where we grew up, the stories we tell at parties, but the deep ones. The 3 a.m. talks when neither of us can sleep and we finally say the things we have been too scared to admit in daylight. I want to know what keeps you awake now. I want to know what you are afraid of, what dreams you have buried because you stopped believing they were possible. I want to know the version of you that you hide from everyone else, the one you think is too much or not enough. That is the you I am writing to. That is the you I want to know. And I want you to know me the same way. I want to tell you about the time I almost gave up on everything I am building now. The nights I have sat alone wondering if any of it matters. The moments when success felt hollow because there was no one to share it with. I want you to know. I want to tell you about my fears around inadequacy, around never being enough, around the voice in my head that sometimes tells me I don't deserve the love I am asking for. These aren't first date conversations, I know, but someday, when you trust me enough, when I have proven I am safe, I want us to go there. I want nothing between us but truth. Look at me when I say this. I will never ask you to be smaller to make me comfortable. I will never need you to dim your light so mine can shine brighter. Whatever you are, ambitious, creative, fierce, gentle, complicated, I want it. Whatever you are, complicated or simple, I want all of it. I want the parts of you that scare you, the ones you think are too intense or too much for most people. Bring them all. Let me see the fullness of who you are. And I promise I will do the same. I will show you the parts of me I usually hide. The vulnerability beneath the confidence, the doubt beneath the drive, the softness I have learned to protect because the world tends to mistake it for weakness. But what if we are both trying so hard to be ready for each other that we miss the moment when we are ready enough? What if waiting for perfect timing means missing real timing? I think about this often. The balance between patience and action, between preparing and simply showing up. And I don't have the answer. All I know is that when I meet you, I don't want to hesitate. I don't want to second guess or play it cool or protect myself with half-truths. I want to recognize you and claim you and let you know clearly and without reservation that I have been waiting for you. Is that too much, too intense? I worry sometimes that my capacity for depth will overwhelm you. I worry about you. I worry that you will want something lighter, easier, less emotionally demanding. And if that is true, if you need someone who can keep things surface level and casual, then maybe I am not your person because I don't know how to love halfway. I don't know how to show up partially. It is all or nothing for me. Not in a possessive way, but in a present way. When I love with my whole self. With every fear and dream and broken piece I am still trying to put back together. So, I am asking you to meet me there in the depths, in the messy, uncertain, beautiful place today. I am asking you to meet me in the place where real connection happens. I am asking you to be brave with me, to risk your heart, even though hearts are fragile things. To believe that what we could build together is worth the vulnerability it requires. Because it is. I know it is, even though I haven't met you yet. Even though this whole thing might sound insane to anyone reading over my shoulder, I know that what we have the potential to create is rare, sacred even. And if you are scared, that is okay. I am scared too, terrified actually, but I have learned about fear. I have learned that fear and faith can coexist, that you can be afraid of something and still move toward it. That courage isn't the absence of fear, it is choosing love despite it. So let's be scared together. Let's acknowledge that this is risky and uncertain, and there are no guarantees. And then let's do it anyway. Let's build something that matters, something that lasts, something that makes all the waiting and wondering and hoping feel like it was always leading us here. I am still here, still writing, still believing, and every word is a step toward you now. Wherever you are, I want to tell you about the moment I knew I was ready for you. Not when I had everything figured out or when my life looked perfect on paper, but when I finally stopped running from myself. It was a quiet realization, nothing dramatic. I was sitting alone one evening, and instead of feeling that familiar panic about being by myself, I felt peace. And in that peace, I understood I wasn't waiting for you to complete me. I was preparing myself to meet you as a whole person, someone who could stand beside you, not cling to you, someone who could love you now. I wanted to be someone who could love you without needing you to fix what is broken inside me. That distinction matters more than I can express because for so long, I think I confused loneliness with readiness. I thought wanting you meant I was ready for you. But wanting and being ready are completely different things. Wanting is about absence, feeling the empty space and needing to fill it. Being ready is about presence, knowing yourself well enough to invite someone else into that knowing, and I am finally there, finally in a place where I can offer you partnership. I can finally offer you partnership instead of need, freedom instead of dependency, love instead of desperation. Does that resonate with you? Have you reached that place yet? Or are you still figuring it out? Because here is what I want you to know. If you are not there yet, I will wait. Not in a passive way, not putting my life on hold, but I will wait in the sense that I won't settle for less than what we both deserve. I won't rush into something just because I am tired of being alone. I won't mistake chemistry for compatibility or attraction for alignment. I will wait. I will wait for the real thing, for you, the actual you, not some placeholder wearing your name. but I would be lying if I said the waiting doesn't hurt sometimes. There are nights when the silence feels so heavy I can barely breathe. When I look around at the life I have built, the work I am proud of, the dreams I am chasing, the person I am becoming, and it all feels somehow incomplete without you to share it with. Not because my life isn't full, it is, but because I have tasted enough of existence to know that shared joy is deeper than solo achievement. Shared joy is better. I know that victory means more when someone who loves you witnesses it, that even the mundane becomes magical when you experience it with the right person. This is where everything I thought I knew changed. I used to believe that needing someone was weakness, that true strength meant being entirely self-sufficient. But life has taught me something different. Needing someone isn't weakness when it comes from wholeness rather than emptiness. When I say I need you, I don't mean I can't function without you. I mean my life is good and with you it could be extraordinary for us. I mean I am capable alone, but I would rather be capable together. I mean, I have built something worth sharing, and I want you to be the one I share with. There's a difference between dependent need and interdependent desire. One comes from lack, the other comes from abundance. One says, I am incomplete without you. The other says, I am complete, and I choose to intertwine my completeness with yours. And that is what I am offering, not half a person begging to be made whole, but a whole person choosing to create something greater than what either of us could build alone. I am offering a partnership, a team, two people who make each other better simply by existing in the same space. I imagine the rhythm we will create together. Not every day will be profound, and that is okay. Some days we will barely speak, both of us absorbed in our own worlds, comfortable in parallel silence. Other days we will talk until our voices are hoarse, jumping from topic to topic, laughing at inside jokes that no one else would understand. Some days I will need to be strong for both of us, and other days you will carry us when I can't. That is what partnership is. That is what partnership means. Taking turns, sharing weight, showing up for each other even when it's inconvenient or hard. Have you thought about the practical parts? Because I have. I have thought about how we will navigate disagreements without destroying what we are building, how we will handle stress when life gets overwhelming, how we will keep choosing each other when the initial excitement fades and we are left with just the daily reality of loving someone. These aren't romantic thoughts, I know, but they are real ones. I think about them because I want us to work. I think about them because I don't want to be one of those people who mistakes intensity for intimacy, who burns bright and fast and then can't sustain the flame when real life shows up. I want something that lasts, something that deepens with time rather than diminishes, something that becomes more precious the longer we tend to it. And I know that requires more than feelings. It requires commitment, the kind that chooses love as a verb, not just a noun. The kind that shows up on the days when you are annoying me. When I am disappointed in something you did, we must stay together. Those are the moments that matter, not the easy ones, but the ones where we have to actively choose each other despite everything pulling us apart. But here is the truth. I have never told anyone. I am afraid I won't be enough for you when you finally arrive, that you will look at me and see someone who talks a good game but can't deliver on these promises, someone whose love is more theoretical than practical, someone who spends so long imagining you that he has forgotten how to be present with an actual person. What if all this preparation has actually made me less ready? What if I have built you up so much in my mind that the real you, the human, complicated, beautifully flawed you, can't compete with the fantasy? These doubts circle my mind like vultures. They tell me I am setting us up for failure, that no relationship could possibly live up to this much anticipation, that I should lower my expectations, be more realistic, and accept that love is ordinary and mundane and nothing like what I have been hoping for. And some days, I almost believe them. Some days, I think maybe everyone else is right. Maybe I am too idealistic or too intense. Maybe I am too much, but then I remember why I started writing these letters in the first place. Not because I believe in fairy tales, but because I believe in intention. I believe that how we approach something matters, that the energy we bring shapes the outcome. And I would rather show up to love with my whole heart and risk disappointment than protect myself with cynicism and guarantee emptiness. I would rather be too much than not enough. I would rather love too deeply than not deeply enough. So I keep writing, I keep believing, I keep preparing my heart for you today. Yes, it is vulnerable. Yes, it is scary. Yes, there is a very real possibility that I am pouring all this hope into something that might never materialize the way I imagine. But what is the alternative? To stop believing, to close myself off, to settle for connections that feel safe but don't touch my soul? I can't do that. I won't do that. Not when I know somewhere deep in my bones that you are out there, that this isn't fantasy, it is prophecy, that every word I am writing is creating the space for you to walk into my life. The moment I say this, when you do arrive, stay. When you do arrive, I won't pretend I haven't been waiting. I won't play it cool or act like you are just another person I am casually interested in. I will tell you the truth. I will tell you I have been writing you letters for years, that I have been becoming myself so that I could be worthy of becoming us, that every decision I have made has been in some way preparation for this moment. And if that scares you, if it is too intense, if you need someone who approaches love more casually, then maybe we are not meant to be. But I don't believe that. I believe in us. I believe when you read these words, you will understand. You will recognize yourself in them. You will know that I see you, really see you even before we have met. And maybe that is the whole point of faith. Not knowing how the story ends, but trusting that it is worth telling anyway. Not having guarantees, but choosing hope despite the uncertainty. Not seeing you yet, but believing in you with such conviction that you become real before you are tangible. That is what you are to me, more than a dream, but not yet reality, existing in that space between wish and fulfillment. I am comfortable here in the waiting because I know the waiting is part of our story too. The chapters we are writing separately so that when we finally come together, we bring richness instead of neediness, wholeness instead of holes. So wherever you are tonight, whatever you're doing, know that someone is thinking about you. Not obsessively, not desperately, but with steady, certain faith. Know that you are not just being waited for, but prepared for. Know that when our paths cross, it won't be an accident. It will be the culmination of everything we built to be together. What if you have been feeling this too? What if somewhere in your own way you have been writing letters to me? Let me tell you about the version of love I don't want, the performative kind, the kind that looks perfect in pictures but feels hollow in private. The kind where we are more concerned with how we appear than how we actually feel. I have seen too many relationships that were beautiful on the surface but empty underneath. And I have promised myself, promised us, that ours will never be that. I want the messy, real, unglamorous version of love. I want the real thing now. I want the kind where you see me at my worst and don't flinch. The kind where we can be bored together and call it intimacy. The kind that doesn't need an audience to validate it. Because here is what I have learned. Real love happens in the margins, in the moments no one photographs, in the way you look at me when I am sick and disgusting and nothing like the person you first met, in the fights we have and then repair stronger than before, in the compromises we make without resentment, in the 1,000 tiny decisions to choose each other when choosing ourselves would be easier. That is the love I am preparing for. Not the Instagram version, not the highlight reel, but the actual daily unglamorous work of building a life with someone. And I need you to know what you are signing up for, because I am not easy. I am intense and emotional, and sometimes too much for the space I am in. I feel things deeply, Joy, pain, fear, hope, all of it at volumes most people find overwhelming. I can't do casual. I can't do surface level. Even when I try to be light and breezy, my depth shows through. It is who I am, and I have spent enough time apologizing for it. The right person won't need me to apologize. The right person, you, will meet my intensity with your own. You will understand that depth isn't drama. It is just how some of us experience the world. But here is the truth. I have never told anyone. Sometimes I wonder if my intensity is just a shield. If I go deep so quickly because I am actually afraid of the slow, steady work of building trust over time. If I rush to vulnerability because genuine intimacy, the kind that unfolds gradually, that lets someone see you in pieces rather than all at once, terrifies me more than anything. What if my emotional transparency is actually another form of hiding? What if by showing you everything immediately, I never have to experience the fear of being slowly discovered? These are the questions I am sitting with, the uncomfortable ones, the ones that make me realize I still have work to do. Because I don't want to love you from a place of fear, even if that fear is dressed up as courage. I want to love you from a place of genuine security. I want to be able to reveal myself slowly, to let you peel back my layers one at a time, to trust that you will stay with me. I want to trust that you will stay, even if the discovery takes years instead of moments. That is the kind of patience I am trying to cultivate, not just patience for your arrival, but patience for the unfolding that happens after. This is where everything shifts for me. I used to think love was about the spark, that initial moment of recognition, the chemistry, the electricity. And yes, those things matter. But I have come to understand that real love is about what happens after the spark. It is about building something sustainable from that initial flame. It is about choosing us. It is about choosing each other on the days when there is no spark. When you are both just tired humans navigating a complicated world. It is about creating a foundation strong enough to hold the weight of 2 full lives, 2 sets of dreams, 2 complicated histories. I think about what that foundation looks like. Trust, obviously, but not blind trust, earned trust. The kind that comes from showing up consistently, from keeping promises, from being reliable even when it is inconvenient. Communication, the willingness to say the hard things, to name our needs, to speak up for ourselves. Respect for your autonomy, your decisions, your right to be a complete person outside of us. And space, the understanding that we can be deeply connected and still maintain our individual identities, that loving you doesn't mean absorbing you. Have you thought about this? About what you need from a partnership to feel safe and seen? Because I want to know. I want to understand your non-negotiables, your boundaries, your fears. I want to know what past relationships have taught you about what you do and don't want. I want to know where you are flexible and where you are firm now. These conversations matter to me, not to judge or evaluate, but to understand, to make sure that what I am offering aligns with what you are seeking, to make sure we are building the same house, not 2 different versions that happen to be sitting on the same plot of land. I imagine us having the hard conversations, the ones about money and family and kids and religion and all the practical things that poets don't like to talk about, but that make or break real relationships. I imagine us navigating differences in communication styles and in conflict resolution for the both of us. I imagine us navigating how we recharge and what we need from each other. And I imagine us doing it with grace, not perfectly. We will mess up, we will misunderstand, we will hurt each other unintentionally, but with the commitment to repair, to come back to the table even after we have walked away angry, to choose understanding over being right. But what if we want different things? What if I dream of a quiet life and you crave adventure? What if your career requires you to move and my roots are planted deep where I am? What if we are perfect for each other in every way today? What if we are perfect in every way except the ways that actually matter for building a life together? These questions haunt me because I know that love isn't always enough, that two people can care deeply for each other and still not be compatible. And the thought of meeting you, recognizing you, loving you, and then having to walk away because our lives don't align, that might be the most painful scenario I can imagine. So I am praying for alignment, not just emotional connection, but practical compatibility. I am praying that when we meet, the logistics work for our lives. I am praying that our visions for the future complement rather than contradict each other. I am praying that what you need from life and what I need from life can coexist and can even enhance each other, because I don't want to have to choose between loving you and living my purpose. I want both. I want us to be each other's purpose and still have our individual purposes beyond each other. I want love that expands our lives rather than contracts them. I want a love that makes us both more than we were. I am still here, still waiting, and still believing that you are too.